It's a very good question. And it's a question that comes frequently, whether it's, and I will say this, though, that could easily be a male-type body that asks that question, but usually these questions come from women because we're trained, and even if it's not from a woman, it doesn't matter, but we're trained to put others' needs in front of our own. We're trained as partners, we're trained as mothers, and it's a part of being a woman. I actually loved that role for a minute. If you love loving and serving, giving, you love it until you realize that it's holding you back. So that's where it gets to be an issue. And the question is really, how do I change that habit pattern? Is that correct? Yeah, very difficult. It is, because behind that, and again, even if you're a man and you wrote that question, it doesn't matter. Behind that is some teaching that we've lived with for a very long time that says, whether in these words or not, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad if you don't do it. And even if it doesn't say you're bad, that's what's driving you to put other people's needs in front of your own. But I would say it's a very important question, and it's essential to begin to take the steps. If it's hard, make it baby steps, where you carve out a certain period of time or space. Space is important too, by the way, that is for you and God. What that is, it's different for every person. Maybe it's, I'm just going to start coming to Sunday service every week. I'm just going to do that, even though my partner loves lounging in bed for a while and then going to Starbucks and getting a coffee. I mean, you can fill in the blank. There are so many answers and ways. But I remember I was given this name, Shanti, when I was about 34 years old by a different teacher. But the only place it was used was on that path. Very few people at Ananda knew that name. And some of you remember I was with Ananda with that teacher, came back. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But at some point, I realized that I wanted to be Shanti. The name was actually Shanti Lakshmi that was given. And I remember one day I said to Barry, who had been with me, we had been together for quite some time, honey, how do you feel about me taking the name Shanti, really taking it, like changing my name, legally just putting it? He said, no, I hate that. I don't want you to do that. Because he knew me as Sally, and that's what he wanted. And I thought about it overnight. And the next day I had to say to him, very lovingly, very sweetly, honey, I need to do this. I need to do this. Suddenly, I couldn't relate to that name anymore. Suddenly, I felt, I'm Shanti, not Sally. This was after, I was Sally for a long time in many arenas. Sometimes we have to set limits. Now, that wasn't just about Barry. That was about me finding the way, the courage, the conviction, the energy, the love to say, I'm sorry, this is how it has to be. And that is part of how we grow, So maybe we need to set a calendar, and every month or 3 months, put the next little bit of progress that we're going to do. Now, I will meditate every day for this period, whatever it is. Maybe that has to start short. I do want pictures of my gurus somewhere in the house. I need to take a class. It doesn't matter what it is. What's there that's raising power and energy is that, yes, that energy that takes us toward the divine. So it can be baby steps. Sounds like you wouldn't want to hurt your partner. You're saying the relationship's good. And the relationship may be great, but if God's not in it, we need to, if we want to find God, means find that place within ourselves where we remember who we are. That's what finding God means. We're not on a scavenger hunt out there finding God, although there are clues along the way here. But it's inside of us. But if we genuinely want that, which we can often see by looking at our lives, how big is the life? And I am speaking from experience, but without going through my situation again. How big is the life that calls us away? And how do we keep the firmest hold right here with God? We have to. There's too much against us in this whole world. There's too much that wants to trick us, tell us why there's no time to meditate, why we can't pray, why we can't. You know, it's very interesting. There are two women who are part of our Raja Yoga group that just finished. Lovely women, both of them. They're moving on towards discipleship. They may even be watching. I should probably be, well, I'm into it now, so I'm going to say this. And they came to dinner at the community last night, and it was so lovely having them there. They were really enthusiastically present. Right away after dinner, let me help you clean up. I really, really like these two people. I'm not so much a part of Raja Yoga at all anymore. I teach 1 or 2 classes, and that's it. But I said to myself, when you can't, stop in and spend a little time with them because they're sincere. But as they were helping me take the trash and recycle out, I said to them, you know, there were so many questions the 2 times that I taught Raja Yoga. There was nowhere near enough room to answer the questions. I said to them, there's all these questions. Just consider tomorrow there's this Q&A. You could come or you could be online, and maybe they're online. But as soon as I turned away from them, I said to myself, you know, probably, again, I don't know them, maybe they're old yogis, but I said they're so new. They were here tonight. This is a big chunk of energy coming tomorrow again. That would be a big deal. It's a big deal to start shifting our worlds, where everything in our world starts understanding. I used to use the example of a very well-known concept in psychology. It's called foreground, background. And it doesn't matter what it's about, but as we awaken spiritually, we begin to feel that shift of the foreground and the background. We come onto this path, many of us, and what's in the foreground is education, getting a degree, our family, our commitment to partners, children, everybody and everything in the world who's not on the path. And then as it begins to shift, we begin to see, I don't know if I can maintain this friendship that I've had for so many years because it's always taking me away. How am I going to do that? How am I going to let Barry know, I love you, I care deeply about you, I'm here for you. But this spiritual path takes a lot of time and energy. We need to quit measuring love in terms of time, duties. We need to begin to share a love of the heart that's always there, even if I'm away all weekend like I will be this weekend. All day Saturday, all day Sunday, all Sunday night. Big packed weekend. I left this morning, honey, I love you. I do. I love him. I'll take him to the farm with me, but I'm not with him. And I'm not going to not go to the farm and the family program, and tomorrow to give this service, and tomorrow's a very full day, but I can't remember all of what. Whatever it is, it's all about this. So, yeah, we need to start carving out space. And I'll just finish with this. As we do that, this is the scientific experiment that I was talking about before. By definition, Yogananda's definition, a scientific, the truth, in a scientific experiment, if something is truth, the experiment can be repeated again and again and again. And he says, if done properly, the result will always be the same. And that's the truth. We've all taken chemistry classes, probably. We've all seen steam come out that's red or orange from putting the right two chemicals in the bowl or whatever it is. It always works, always. That's what happens here. If we can get this just right, keep our hearts open and begin to raise that energy and offer more and more of it up to the divine, it doesn't cause the tumult at home that you think it will. The relationships don't actually have to end with many of the friends who are dear friends who love us and want the best for us. They're not here. I don't meet them here usually. But, once every few months or once a year, I see them. And it's like we were never apart. We love each other. And we haven't had to break up because of it. The relationship gets fed by the divine energy, by the magnetism that is the guru and the path. It's good energy. It feels good, and people feel loved. Now, every once in a while, it just doesn't work. See how much Divine Mother helps you through that. That's what I would say.